You Johnny's sister?
Yeah?
Johnny's been hurt.
I think he's dying, Marie.
Don't say that, Ethel.
Well, look at him.
What happened?
He's been stabbed.
Code 3.
My name is Barrett, Assistant Sheriff, Los Angeles County. This is a homicide case of unusual scope and a painstaking investigation that led to the truth. It is a story of many suspects and several associated crimes, and started with a phone call to the sheriff's office. When the call comes to the sheriff's office and the case is found to be a possible homicide, 2 detectives are assigned, Sergeants Bill Hollis and Charlie Goodrich, and immediately the crime laboratory is notified.
Could you tell us how it happened?
He said 2 men stabbed him while he was parked in his car.
That's right. That's what he said.
When did you see your brother last?
About 8 o'clock. He got $80 from me and said he was going downtown in a borrowed car to see someone about a deal.
What kind of deal?
I don't know. He said he'd be back about midnight. He was supposed to return the borrowed car just before that.
Take it easy, man.
What's that other detective doing in the kitchen?
Just a routine check. Please go on.
This morning a man knocked at the door and brought Johnny in.
What time was this?
About 4.
4:15. It woke us up.
Who was the man?
Fred Ellis. He's a waiter.
I started to undress Johnny. I guess I got scared. Tried to stop the bleeding.
I asked him what happened.
Yes?
2 guys stabbed him while he was parked in the car.
Did he recognize them?
I don't think so. He did say Fred Ellis had nothing to do with it.
Marie wanted to call a doctor, but Johnny said no. It had put the heat on.
That's right. He said I can't afford to get busted.
You're from the sheriff's office. Who are you? I said, who are you?
I'm Tom Haggerty.
Identification?
Sure. Driver's license?
Take it out of your wallet, please.
What are you doing here?
I've been waiting downstairs in the coffee shop.
Waiting for what?
I loaned Johnny my car. That's why I was waiting. I went down for a cup of coffee. When I came back, I found Johnny and Fred Ellis here.
Then you knew Fred Ellis?
Sure. He works the Marcus Grill at the beach.
All right, you can go. Not too far.
Anything you say. Goodbye, Marie.
Ethel?
Good night, Tom.
Tell me, Marie, what did your brother mean he didn't want to get busted?
I don't know.
What did Johnny do for a living?
Work someplace downtown.
Do you know where?
I used to call him the Marcus Grill.
Where do you work, Marie?
The Bank of Finance. Johnny put me through business school. I would have had him paid back in another month.
That's the way it began. A man stabbed to death. His sister, her friend, a man named Fred Ellis. The coroner told Detectives Hollis and Goodrich that Johnny was stabbed with a knife that must have had at least a 6-inch blade. The detectives left the coroner's office and went to the grill where Fred Ellis worked. Fred seemed eager to talk to them.
Freddie, did you take Johnny McGraw home to his sister's apartment?
Yeah.
Where's the car?
It's in a lot next door.
Johnny's dead.
I'm sorry to hear it. He was a nice guy.
You drove him home. What happened?
Well, I've known Johnny for a long time. Last night after I closed up here, I stopped at a little joint around the corner, and Johnny was there. We got to talking, we decided to go up to his house. He said he had his car parked out in front, so we used his car. Oh, some coffee?
No, no thanks. Go on with your story, Freddie.
Well, we decided to stop someplace and talk over a deal.
What kind of deal?
A deal. We stopped at this little restaurant.
What restaurant?
The late spot on Santa Monica. Johnny was too sick to eat, so he stayed in the car. While I went in the restaurant, I had a piece of pie and a cup of coffee. Well, I stayed in the restaurant 20 minutes, 20 couple. I went back to the car. Johnny was lying in the front seat. I tried to move him over so I could get behind the wheel. He raised up and he said, "Don't hit me again." I said, "What are you talking about?" Then he said that he had been jumped by a couple of guys.
Did he describe him?
No. I see there's blood on the front of his shirt. I said, "Johnny, you've been hurt. I better take you to the doctor." He said, "No, take me home," and he gave me the address of his sister.
So you took him?
Yeah. I suggested calling a doctor, and this Ethel says, "No, it'll heat up the place."
When you left, was he still alive?
Yeah, he was still alive. I could hear him breathing.
Freddie, you better get your coat and show us where all this happened.
Anything I can do to help, just ask me. After all, he was one of my best friends. Hey, Marcus.
What?
I'm going out for a little while.
Where?
With a couple of boys from the sheriff's office. Yeah, we parked about here. I remember it was right here. Now, the restaurant was around the corner, and when I came out and I came to the car, Johnny was laying on the front seat.
And you drove this Johnny home, huh?
Well, to his sister's house, yeah.
Anybody in the restaurant who'll remember it?
Yeah, there was a friend of mine named Pat Malley. He works at one of the film studios. He would remember me.
You know where this Malley lives?
Yeah, Crest Apartments.
All right, let's go see Mr. Malley. Come on, Fred.
If you don't mind, I've been up all night. I'll just get some sleep in the car, huh?
Suit yourself.
I'll keep him company.
I'm from the sheriff's office. You Pat Malley?
Yes.
I want to talk to you.
About what?
Do you know Fred Ellis?
What about him?
Do you know him?
Yes.
Well, don't worry, you're not in any trouble, but he might be.
Okay, I'll tell you anything you want. Please come in. I'm in motion pictures, you know. It's a nervous business, you know, and sometimes you can't sleep. So I went to this restaurant about 3 a.m., and Fred came in, he ordered something to eat, and he was high and excited.
Wouldn't you like to sit down?
I gotta walk. I can't sit down when I'm upset.
I wish you'd relax. You're making me nervous.
I'm sorry. Where was I? Oh, yes. Fred, he was very loud. Said he'd been living high. Got a new job, he said. I'm a waiter. It's only a cover-up.
What do you mean by that?
Ooh, big talk, hoodlum stuff. He was a windbag.
Look, will you please sit down?
He said, you've got a lot of good contacts. Why don't you bring them down to my grill? I can make connections for them for anything they want, anything. Thanks. I said, aren't you afraid to be working down there with the police all around? He said, no, the police are always leaning on my neck. They don't know I'm holding the difference in my hand when I talk to them.
The difference?
He said they better not get rough with him.
Then what?
Well, I decided to get out of there. He was too loud. I didn't want any trouble. So I came back here to my apartment about 4 a.m., I believe.
You know his friend, Johnny McGraw?
Oh, I've seen him around. Never met him.
Thanks, Mr. Malley. We'll get in touch with you if we need you again.
I won't get involved.
You won't if you're not.
Not what?
Involved.
So did you see Molly?
Yeah,
So now what?
just routine.
We're gonna leave you here while we do a little more checking. Okay, Fred?
Anything you say, I'll be right here. Anything I can do to help, just ask me.
What do you make of him?
Well, he's too cool. Anybody going through the experience he had would be, well, a little more upset.
Yeah, like that Pat Malley. He was so nervous, I thought he was going to pass out. Got any ideas?
Why do you say we talk to Johnny's sister again?
Come on.
Detectives Goodrich and Hollis drove back to Marie's apartment. They questioned her and her friend Ethel. They were given the names of two men. One was Harry Pine, a weird little crook of all trades. The second man was Harold Breacher.
Breacher said he'd killed Johnny
What for?
because Breacher was arrested.
He claimed Johnny put the finger on him.
He said he'd get him if it was the last thing he ever did.
If he did it, we'll find it out. If he didn't, we'll find that out, too.
You guys are certainly businesslike.
Just routine.
Come back anytime. I'll be here whenever you want to talk to me.
Thanks. Check the bank?
Yeah, Marie's job was legitimate. I tell her the bank wants to marry her.
Well, like you said, she's a good-looking woman.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He held out on the jewelry.
What jewelry?
You want me to slap it out of you? I want that money.
I don't know anything about it. Now let go of me.
What's going on here?
He was in on the robbery with Johnny and Harold Breacher.
What robbery?
Some movie actress, furs and jewels. He thought Johnny gave Marie some of the jewelry and she was holding out.
Ethel.
I'm sorry, honey.
All right, you come along with us. You too, Miss Hammond.
Why me? I'm only trying to help.
We just want to show you how much we appreciate it.
They booked Tom on suspicion of burglary and homicide and held Ethel as a material witness. Then they drove to the headquarters of the sheriff's office on Temple Street. They went through the files of the Record Bureau. They learned that Harold Breacher, one of their suspects, was in jail and had been in jail at the time of the stabbing. They had the package pulled on Harry Pine and learned of two previous convictions for receiving stolen property.
Is Harry Pine there, please? Fred. What? Where? The Marcus Grill. Oh. All right, thank you. Pine left a message. He's meeting Johnny McGraw at the Marcus Grill.
Either he doesn't know Johnny's dead or he's being real cute.
Let's find out, huh?
Did I ever tell you about the time I knocked out Kid Sloan?
Marcus, you told us 100 times.
If you're going to keep my waiter in a pokey, you'll have to listen.
Marcus, do you know Harry Pine?
Harry Pine, the philosopher?
Harry Pine, a friend of Johnny McGraw, Fred Ellis, and Hal Breacher.
That's the philosopher. Crazy music and screwy words. That's Harry, a real charmer.
Then you do know him.
Sure. He's sitting right over there.
Harry, we're from the sheriff's office.
Okay. So you're from the sheriff's office.
We phoned your apartment. They said you left a message for Johnny McGraw to meet him here.
So Johnny was supposed to meet me here.
Johnny is dead. I said Johnny is dead.
I heard you.
You had a date to meet him here.
I guess he's not coming.
What was the date about?
Maybe I wanted to give him a lesson from my long experience.
What do you mean by that?
Johnny was no good. I'm not surprised he's dead. Who killed him?
That's what we'd like to know.
Don't look at me.
You threatened him.
So I threatened him. Shoot me at sunrise and boil me in oil. Hang me from the highest tree and take me back to Dixie. I'm glad he's dead, but I didn't kill him. He deprived me of that pleasure. That's life. Always being deprived of little pleasures.
Can you tell us where you were last night?
I was at a party.
What kind of party?
Cats and hipsters. A little of this, a little of that.
Can you prove it?
Okay, I'll prove it.
Go ahead.
A girl is coming to meet me here. She was at the party. A strange girl. Out of this world. She'll tell you I was there.
We'll wait at the counter.
2 coffees, Marcus.
Okay.
And no cactus.
Know what?
Forget it, private joke.
So like I was telling you, I said to the kid in the clinch,
This waiter of yours, Fred Ellis, how long has he been working for you?
oh, about 3 months, but he's a mean guy.
Do you know if he ever had a knife?
Yeah. I saw him with it one day and I took it away from him. I didn't want any of the help carrying knives. He said he would take it home with him, so I gave it back to him. It was a pearl handle knife with a long blade. You know, you can open it by pushing a button.
Thanks, Marcus.
Her name's Andrea. She'll be here, believe me. She'll tell you I was at a party last night.
Who'll be?
Seems like we spend most of our time waiting. Somebody to make a mistake.
Yeah, you get used to it, Bill. It's all part of the job.
I'd rather keep busy. When I'm busy, I don't have time to think about all the bills I have to meet. You know what it means to raise 3 girls? They always need clothes.
I know. Whenever my wife starts to complain about our boy buying records or something, you know what I tell her? What if we had 3 girls like Bill? Now, that's expensive.
Harry, they told me you were here.
I told them to tell you.
I had to see you.
Someone always has to see me. Life is like a bottle of poison. Sometimes when you get a crazy appetite for life, it poisons you. I can't help you, Andrea.
Oh, you've got to. I know you can. I need some money. Please, Harry. I'm begging you.
Take it easy. Those 2 men are detectives.
It's the girl you were telling us about, Harry?
Yes. These men want to ask you some questions, Andrea.
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
This won't take long. You tell us where you were all last night?
I was on a cloud, reaching for the stars. The music sent me.
Andrea.
I could almost touch the stars. They're so close. So far away.
Where were you last night?
Last night?
Tell them about the party.
Don't put words in her mouth, Harry.
Okay, okay.
Last night.
I was at a party. Harry will tell you. He was there, too.
You see?
What kind of party?
It was like a delicious dream. Just music. Heartbreaking music.
Andrea.
Music. Break your heart.
Harry was with you?
He was there. Harry was sweet then. Sweet, funny, full of philosophy. Now he doesn't like me.
Okay. You better run along home.
Home is a faraway place in my dreams. got to talk to Harry.
Send her home, Harry. I'll be right with you. Better call in and see how Fred's doing.
Go away. I'll see you later. Cut it out. They're watching us. You'll get us both in a jam. You're gonna start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, don't come any closer.
Why don't you guys leave me alone? All my life, people just push my back up against the wall. Fall once, and guy carries you around for the rest of his life. Life is just poison.
Harry the philosopher. What a wasted life. How did they get that way, Bill?
What'd Marcus say? Screwy words and crazy music. A real charmer.
Yeah. What about Andrea?
She's on the bus for Muncie, Indiana, I hope.
How do you feel, Fred?
Got some sleep. Feel fine.
Yeah.
We've had a busy day. Checked into a couple of guys who threatened Johnny's life. And caught a couple who were in a burglary with him.
We booked a friend of yours, Harry the philosopher.
Poor Harry. Well, you sure had yourselves a busy day.
Mostly we checked into your story. We told you if it was true, our investigation would show it. If it wasn't...
Well, I told you everything.
Everything, Fred? You sure? We found a couple discrepancies.
Give me a for instance.
For instance, we know you had a knife. You said you didn't have one.
We think you're the top man in this setup.
You kidding? How do you figure that?
You're so calm. Nothing petty or small.
We think you had something to do with the stabbing of Johnny.
Why don't you tell us what actually happened, huh?
A hat rack has a lot of places to hang a hat.
Same thing with a crime. It can happen in a lot of ways.
I figured it had to come out somehow. Okay, I'll tell you. After I went back to the car, Johnny
Just a
was...
minute, I'll get a statement reporter.
Go ahead.
Well, like I said before, I left Pat Malley after I ate. I went back to the car. Johnny was laying in the seat. I straightened him up. Remember?
Mm-hmm. You told us all that.
Well, I started to put the key in the ignition, and Johnny lunges over and grabs the keys. I shoved him back into the seat. I said, "You're not going to drive, Johnny. You're too sick."
Then what happened?
He got very belligerent. He yells that he is going to drive. And then he starts going through his pockets. He says, "I've clipped him for $80. I told him he's crazy. "Where is it?" he said. "What'd I do with it?" "You took it," he said.
We're listening, Fred.
Then he pulled a knife. I grabbed it and took it away from him. Well, while I was still holding it, he come at me again, and that's the way it happened.
Come on.
It was just one of those things, and he wound up all cut up.
Is that all?
Yeah. Well, I was very much put back by it. I wanted to take him to the hospital. He said, "No, take me home."
Did you get his money?
No, I didn't take it. I was only trying to help him. I told you before, I was one of his best friends. I didn't mean to kill him. It's just that I had the knife, and we were struggling, and... Anyway, I took him home.
Why'd he say you didn't do it?
Well, he was a friend of mine. He didn't want to get me in trouble.
Tom Haggerty is under indictment for burglary, and Ethel Hammond was convicted of withholding evidence. The philosopher, Harry Pine, was cleared of receiving stolen goods. Marie married the bank teller, and Fred Ellis, the killer, pleaded guilty while claiming self-defense. He's now awaiting sentence. You're probably wondering about Andrea. She finally did go back home to Muncie, Indiana. And now may I present Eugene W. Biscaluse Sheriff of Los Angeles County.
Friends, the members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are pleased to furnish technical advice for Code 3, so you may enjoy an authentic presentation of law enforcement. I hope you'll be with us again next week. Thank you very much.